Look at how great you look.
Thank you.
I feel like I've been on a diet my entire life.
I even cut out bread and pasta for a day.
And then I tried Noom.
I feel like anyone could use Noom.
It's an easy to stick to program that actually changed my habits. It changed the way I look at food.
They say it's based on a cognitive behavioral approach. I just say it works.
It just clicked. It worked. It worked with Noom.
Visit Noom.com and lose the weight for good.
Whose dog is this?
It's my special friend Antonio. His luxurious fur calms my nerves when I'm worried about moving into our new apartment.
Why don't we just ask Geico for help with renter's insurance?
I didn't know Geico helps with renter's insurance.
Yeah, and we could save a bunch too.
Antonio, fetch a computer. Antonio. I'll get it.
Get to know Geico and see how much you could save on renter's insurance.
At Safelite Auto Glass, we really pride ourselves on making it easy for you to get your windshield fixed.
Let's turn in your science papers.
This teacher always puts her students first.
I did mine a volcano. You did? Oh, I can't wait to read it.
So when she had auto glass damage, she chose Safelite. With Safelite, she could see exactly when we'd be there.
You must be Pascal.
Yes, ma'am. Saving her time. So she can save the science project.
Closed captioning brought to you by TheraWorks Relief. Prevent and relieve muscle cramps.
If you suffer from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, TheraWorks Relief can help.
Get TheraWorks Relief today. Available in stores everywhere.
We're following multiple breaking stories, including the new timeline of the Dayton shooting massacre and the video of the gunman in his final hours. This as President Trump claims Republicans are behind the push for new gun control legislation. But CNN has spoken with multiple sources who say otherwise. Let's bring in our analysts. And David Swerdlick, is there real progress being made on the issue of gun control legislation as the president insists?
Never say never, Wolf, but I don't think so. And there's two reasons why. One is because the president, when he gaggled with reporters at the end of last week on the White House lawn, used the word meaningful background checks. The word meaningful in front is Republican code for, well, if these weapons were purchased legally, what would background checks have really done anyway? And so it suggests to me that there are enough Republicans in his ear saying, why should we do this? We don't really have to do this. And the second thing is that Senator McConnell has not called the Senate back into session. I think Republicans are playing a waiting game where they want to see if this issue sort of fades from public view by the time Congress comes back.
Senate's supposed to come back in by mid-September, so that's a while. You know, Jackie Kucinich, the Judiciary Committee, they're coming back to deal with this, but are they going to be able to create some political pressure on the Senate to do something?
I don't think that's likely. They sort of need to work out what they're going to back. I heard the Congressman Beyer talk about an assault weapons ban. That's not something that all Democrats back or are ready to back. They're more kind of in the background check, high capacity magazine, backing red flag laws, family. There seems to be more consensus around those. So once they get their house in order, so to speak, then perhaps they can go a little bit more forward. But to your point, I think the other thing that is a huge factor here is President Trump himself. If he is going to really put pressure on Republicans, because they'll follow his lead in a lot of ways. So if he keeps that pressure up, perhaps something could get done. We just don't know that.
You know, Bianca Golodriga, the White House is confirming that Ivanka Trump, the president's daughter, senior advisor, she's in talks with lawmakers, Democrats and Republicans to try to work out some sort of deal on this. What do you think? Is she going to be qualified? Is she going to be able to do something?
Well, I don't know how much depth was put into these calls. It has been reported that she spoke with Senator Manchin about the possibility or the appetite for reviving the Toomey Manchin bill. That's what's been reported. From the skeptical eye, one could say that Ivanka Trump's name always gets thrown out there through sources in these kinds of situations where I guess from a palatable standpoint, it looks like her remaining silent is not something that's optimal for her profile. On the other other hand, she is the person that has apparently the president's ear. So if this is something that she could really expand upon and come up with more voices to get to the president, and as was mentioned earlier on the panel, to really get him to do something and to push for some legislation, maybe this could lead to something. But as of now, this is just one report, and it's better than nothing, but I don't see how tangible it is for moving this forward.
Jackie Alemany, how are the Democratic presidential candidates working right now to keep this gun control issue on the agenda?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because we've seen Democrats more united on this issue than ever before. It's a complete reversal from what you saw in the wake of the 1994 Republican electoral victory after the assault weapons ban was passed. And I think this is for good reason. I mean, this is a good electoral strategy. If you look at midterms, if you look at, I think something, a group of voters that we haven't really been speaking about a lot is this mass shooting generation, which really these activists, these young Parkland kids, did a lot of get out the vote turnout and actually increased turnout in 2018. And I think that's why you see people like Joe Biden and other candidates, putting out these op-eds and making these strong calls for an assault weapons ban to ignite this same sort of these same activists again to get people to turn out.
We'll see what happens. Everybody stick around. There's a lot more we need to discuss, and we will right after a quick break.
Recognize these? Sweet, fluffy King's Hawaiian buns. You should. They're the same craveable little buns you get from the store. Recognize these? Arby's $1.49 King's Hawaiian sliders featuring Hawaiian barbecue chicken. You shouldn't because they're brand new. So if you do recognize them, somebody leaked it. Who are you working for?
Arby's.
Oh. A little paranoid today.
Arby's, we have the meats.
We're pretty different.
We're all unique in our own ways.
Somos muy diferentes.
Verizon knows everyone in your family is different.
There are so many of us doing so many different things.
That's why Verizon lets everyone mix and match different unlimited plans.
Crash is the gamer.
This is my office.
And now with more plans, everyone gets what they need without paying for things they don't. New plans start at just $35.
The plan is so reasonable, they could stay on for the rest of their lives.
Oh, did you get that on camera?
The network more people rely on gives you more.
Most people think a chair is just a chair. That a handle is just a handle. Or that you can't be both inside and outside. Most people haven't driven a Lincoln.
Discover the Lincoln approach to craftsmanship at the Lincoln Summer Invitation. Right now, get 0% APR on all 2019 Lincoln vehicles plus no payments for up to 90 days. Only at your Lincoln dealer.
We've been friends for 7 years. I'm not that skilled in the world of cooking.
Today, you are going to become a cook.
So how do we do it?
Let's just follow the directions.
Not only do they give you the ingredients, tell you how to make it, but they portion everything out.
It's taking out all the stress of it. Do this move, it kind of looks like you know what you're doing. It's like a life hack.
I can't believe we made this.
It's really good.
Every night, cooking.
That's a new you.
Yeah, I'm getting a little pep in my step.
Yeah.
Go to HelloFresh.com and join the #1 meal kit company. Use code TV80 to get $80 off. HelloFresh. Get cooking.
We have a killer on the loose, hunting innocent Fae folk.
They killed them all, and I tried to help. There's a story of a beast called a Dark Asher.
Dark Asher.
He's coming for you.
There are 3 words that mean everything when you live with migraine. I am here. Aim to say that more with Aimovig, a preventive treatment for migraine in adults that reduces the number of monthly migraine days. For some, that number can be cut in half or more. Don't take Aimovig if you're allergic to it. Allergic reactions like rash or swelling can happen hours to days after use. Common side effects include injection site reactions and constipation. Aim to be there more. Talk to your doctor about Aimovig.
I'm feeling good.
Make the most of your business card with Vistaprint.
I'm feeling good.
500 standard cards start at just $9.99 with code BC Now.
I'm feeling good.
Own the now with Vistaprint.
Casablanca is the movie that has everything for everybody. You want your romance? Do you want your thriller? Do you want your war film? It ticks all the boxes. Amazing film.
At McDonald's, you can count your chickens because we're adding them to breakfast. Get 2 soft chicken McGriddles, 2 buttery McChicken biscuits, or 1 of each for just $3. It's a brand new taste and a whole new breakfast.
So we know the Wright brothers invented air travel, but the Allwright brothers made flying what it's really like today. From the legroom,
seat backs to kneecaps,
to the lack of in-flight offerings.
Moving pictures? The clouds will be their entertainment. How about snacks?
Yeah, they made flying well.
Excuse me, do you have any refreshments?
Just all right.
Hold on, so that's where other airlines get it from?
Well, they didn't get it from us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just all right doesn't fly here.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazon insiders talk with CNN. CNN special report, The Age of Amazon, Friday at 9.
We're back with our analysts as the president and his team are going to new lengths to defend just announced regulations that may drastically limit legal immigration here in the United States. And Bianna, let's talk a little bit about what Ken Cuccinelli, the acting director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, is saying. He's amending the iconic poem that is inscribed in the Statue of Liberty. Listen to this exchange he had earlier in the day with NPR.
Would you also agree that Emma Lazarus's words etched on the Statue of Liberty, "Give me your tired, your poor," are also part of the American ethos?
They certainly are. Give me your tired and your poor who can stand on their own 2 feet and who will not become a public charge.
Those are very, very tough words that he adds to Emma Lazarus' poem who could stand on their own 2 feet and who will not become a public charge. For a lot of us, including you and me, this is very personal.
It is, Wolf, and it doesn't quite have the same ring to it as Emma Lazarus's words do. Look, as you know, and I've talked about this before, I came here as a political refugee at 18 months. My parents and I were allowed to leave the Soviet Union with just $75 apiece, so $225 in hand. We left the life we knew, not because we had a good life back in the Soviet Union. People moved to this country for the most part not with a lot of wealth. They leave their country that they're familiar with because they're able to make the risk, they're wanting to make the risk in a country that forever has been welcoming to immigrants and been given the opportunity. You hear about the American dream. The American dream doesn't start with somebody who comes here with $200,000. The American dream comes with people who come to this country with the incentive to become American citizens and contribute back to this beautiful country. But with that comes sometimes some aid and financial aid that will come in the shape of private donations or from the government. We were fortunate enough to be welcomed to Galveston, Texas. The Jewish community and private donors helped my parents get on their feet and land jobs. But for others, they rely on government subsidies. And so for the president and the government and the administration to be making this new, first of all, moving the goalposts. We're talking about those who are here undocumented. Now we're talking about those who are here legally. It just sends this message that you're not welcome to this country. And that's always what's differentiated us from the rest of the world, is that this is a country where people from all different backgrounds can come and contribute. And that seems to change the narrative that the Statue of Liberty stands for, et cetera. And then if you want to get down to just semantics, I mean, as we know, white Americans are the largest recipients of government subsidies, of food stamps, Medicaid. I don't know why we have to have this conversation now. If you want to clean up some of the bureaucracy and government subsidies, I'm sure there's abuse in the system. You can talk about that. You can say that we're going to offer limitations for the amount of time and years people can spend on government programs. But to just eliminate this right now sends a terrible message. Terrible.
Yeah, and the president today was defending what Ken Cuccinelli was saying. We should only let those who come in who will never be a burden.
Yeah, this whole line of thinking is a cheap line, and I echo everything that Bianna said and would just simply add, the president said that it's similar to what White House advisor Stephen Miller said to our colleague Jim Acosta 2 years ago in the White House briefing room, Republicans have trotted this out every now and then during the Trump administration to try and undercut this broad idea that we have shared for so long that America is a nation of immigrants. And it shows how far, Wolf, Republicans have started moving away from the idea that President Reagan once stated, that this is a shining city on a hill and that we're sending out a beacon that the best and brightest from the world are coming here.
But it also stokes resentment. And you know, to be honest, 6.5% are Medicaid. 4%.
6.5% of what?
Immigrants, excuse me.
Legal immigrants.
Legal immigrants are on Medicaid. 4% use SNAP. So these aren't large numbers. Food stamps. These aren't large numbers of people. They're kind of just making up a problem in order to create an other, which is what this administration does when you talk about immigration. We've seen it over and over and over again.
I also think we should just note another pretty notable descendant of immigrants, which is all really Ken Cuccinelli's mockery served to remind me of today, which was that Stephen Miller, as written by his uncle, actually, his grandfather came to Ellis Island after fleeing Belarus from violent anti-Jewish pogroms. He came here with $8 in his pocket. So the sheer hypocrisy, and I think really Cuccinelli's comment, I think, just underscored the lack of introspection that I think the White House has had for what a lot of these policies are doing, and they're currently wreaking havoc on a lot of the communities that are currently already here. The Washington Post, we reported yesterday that actually 20% of legal immigrants living in New York City have already withdrawn from a lot of the benefits that they're recipients of because they're living in fear. So between changing these asylum laws, deporting these mass deportations, there are tons of Americans living in fear at the moment.
Yeah,
and if I could just button this on a positive note, there are so many charitable organizations in this country that I would expect would stand up. We are the most charitable country in the world. That's not taking away from the obligation that the government should hold, but that notwithstanding, a lot of private charities, religious, what have you, are going to step up and help refugees and immigrants come to this country if the government doesn't follow through.
Everybody stand by. There's a lot more news we need to cover just ahead. CNN gets exclusive access to take you inside the boot camp of a secret army that's doing Vladimir Putin's bidding and expanding his influence around the world. We're going to show you how the Russians reacted, followed our CNN crew, and turned their own camera on our correspondent.
It's time to make room for new model year Kias, so come check out your favorites. Right now, you can get 0